All right. All right. I have a separate question to get us started before we start digging into our super chats, including our makeup super chats from last week, which I really appreciate you guys following the honor system that we all agreed to last week. It's so nice when people are just like, they do the right thing, isn't it, Joshua?
There's a lot of good people in the world, but just I think that the the negative people capture our attention, but there's a lot of goodness.
Well, I do particularly want to celebrate when people do the right thing, because I'm about to ask you a question about someone who obviously did the wrong thing. And that is Miss Katie Herzog, who I have spent the last 2 days thoroughly debunking that hit piece podcast that she produced on me. And I've only debunked 2 things, but I've debunked them pretty thoroughly. And Katie, I can debunk the rest of this, believe me, as I emailed you earlier today. And here's what I want to know about this. Did Katie Herzog know that she was lying in her podcast? Or was she really snowed by all of the nonsense that is spewed about me online, and she was just so convinced that that was actually that was actually correct information that she ran with it, not understanding that it was completely inaccurate and wrong? Did she know or did she not?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Let's see. Love, Queen of Wands. So the first card you get is love, the Two of Cups, which is interesting. I mean, all energy at its basis is love. So if you're directing your energy to somebody on some level, a part of you see yourself in them, or there's some kind of like love there. I think that she's coming from this place, believe it or not. I think with Queen of Wands, I think Queen of Wands is definitely somebody who wants to stay in the truth and really wants to, it's about being in the light, right? And that's what Leo wants, and that's Queen of Wands. And then you have the Fool card. So I think certain things she wasn't sure about.
She got snowed. She got snowed is what happened.
I think with the Fool card, I guess that could be getting snowed. I think that to answer your question, there are certain things that she was unaware of, right? The Fool is unaware or blissfully naive or ignorant.
She got half-truth information and then didn't bother to actually look into it.
I think with Queen of Wands, I think that she did to a certain extent, but I think that, either this love is really somebody that she's connected to that she does like, or it could be you. That she decided,
lesbians love me. Lesbians love me. I have that lesbian vibe.
She's definitely a lesbian?
She's definitely a lesbian, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with the Fool card, I think there's certain things she didn't know about. But again, I get it very innocuous. Like, I don't think that she was trying to hurt anyone. I don't get that around her vibe. I don't think that she's capable of, like, being vindictive. I don't get that around her.
Well, I sent Katie a rather blunt email today where I said, Katie, I have now thoroughly and completely debunked 2 components of your hit piece story, and I have the receipts to debunk the rest of it. So are you ready to retract this story yet? Or are you going to keep digging in your heels and allowing me to continue to debunk it bit by bit? The choice is entirely yours. So I don't know. I guess we'll see, because if it's true that she came from a place of just like maybe not looking into things as much as she should have, then this might be an opportunity for Katie to say, you know what, mea culpa, I effed up. This is a silly podcast that I do with my friend, and I just didn't bother to look into it. I'm sorry. I will retract, which would be the responsible thing for someone to do when they publish a raging fucking hit piece on someone. But if she did it, if she knew, then I could see a continued digging in of the heels.
I don't think that she, I don't think that she knowingly misrepresented the truth. Have you thought about having her on like a show, like Disenraged, or doing something like that, like inviting her on to like talk it out civilly?
I would be more than willing to have a civil conversation with her about how this happened and what the actual truth is, as long as she retracts the podcast and admits that she was wrong.
Well, maybe that comes after
the
interview.
No, because I've already I can retract I can debunk almost every single component of what she said about me in this podcast. And I think I've already proven enough that I can do that in a very logical way, which I'm sure she expected me to get like emotional and scream or whatever, because she probably saw clips of me online doing that and she didn't, again, look into it. But it's like, if she wants me to behave like a responsible adult, she needs to do the responsible thing first, because she was the one that started this by not behaving like an actual journalist.
Right. Well, is she an actual journalist?
I mean, the jury's out on that. I legitimately thought she was. That's the truth. I legitimately thought that, like, she has actually pushed back against like some of the trans agenda stuff, and she's done some okay reporting on some of like the woke stuff. And I knew she was a lefty. I knew that, but I was like, you know what? Sometimes lefties actually do good things too. So I think one of the most disappointing things about this entire thing for me is I did actually respect her. I really did. I was like,
before this.
I knew of her before this. Yes. Yeah, I knew who she was. Well,
that's a shame. Well, hopefully you'll be able to patch things up and make things, better between you both. That would be nice. I mean, there's just, like I said, like the cards are pretty innocuous. So why not like look at this as an opportunity to come together and like for peace and harmony? That's one way of looking at it or handling it.
Peace comes from two people giving a little bit on each side. And I feel as though I am the one that has actually been wronged in this situation. Katie Herzog has not been wronged. And so we need to right that wrong in order for me to continue to give any more at this point. Because at this point, even if she retracts the podcast, it's still already been out there. Lots of people have listened to it. And so if she is unwilling to admit that she was wrong, I am unwilling to have a civil conversation with her. But if she would be willing to retract the podcast, I would actually be more than open to having a civil conversation with her. And if she has legitimate questions for me, I would be more than open to answering any question she has and providing her receipts for those things. But she's got to do the right thing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? That could be a way of like leveraging this and turning lemons into lemonade for both of you. I mean, it could be really great for both of you.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. All right, guys, welcome to Nothing Remotely Controversial. This is a show that Joshua and I do every Tuesday night at 9:30, where we talk about the news and what is going on in the world. And Joshua, who is a professional psychic, uses his psychic and tarot card and astrology prowess to peer beneath the surface and help us understand what's really going on in the world. And we do take your questions on this show. If you would like Joshua to psychic a question for us, you have to send us in the super chat. You get to decide how much based on how many words you want to write or how nice you think Joshua's shirt is on any given day. It's a little bit weird tonight, Joshua, I gotta say, but you know what? It's your shirt, not mine.
And shirt. You don't like the shirt?
It's a little 80s, isn't it?
I mean,
you like
intentionally.
Fine, guys.
Have you seen my music collection?
I have actually seen your music collection on Spotify. But guys, we just ask, if you send us in a super chat, please make it a high level question like, did aliens just enter our universe? Not a low level question like, should I move to Florida? Obviously not, because it's not New Hampshire and you should move here if you're going to move there.